R.A. the Rugged Man, yeah.
I'm back, 500 shows and 2 babies later. Another classic album, the game changer savior. For every fan who said my music saved their life, this is for you. Without the love from fans, I'd be dead. You saved my life too, cause I didn't release an album.
Hi everyone, this is Chris Grosso with the Indie Spiritualist podcast, and my guest today is someone I'm super thrilled to have, R.A. the Rugged Man, hip-hop legend. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Nah, thank you for having me. Like we were saying before we hit record, it was a long day for both of us.
Yes.
My son has a ear infection, so he didn't sleep all last night. I had to stay up with him. He stayed home from the kindergarten, and then I had to go get my daughter from the kindergarten with my sick son, and then he stayed up, and they finally passed out about 20 minutes before this show started. So I'm on no sleep. So don't expect no quick-witted sound bites and shit. It's just me talking. So, you know.
We keep it real here.
And I don't have loud animated shit going on because I got to talk like this because the babies, if they wake up, I'm fucked, you know.
Totally understand. So, yeah, I'm up on you about 2 hours on the sleep front. I have allergies, but yeah, well, like we were talking before we started, we'll go through this. We'll see what happens, and I'm just really excited to have you on the show. I quickly want to read your bio just for any listeners that aren't familiar with you. So bear with me a moment, please. R.A. the Rugged Man is one of the most fascinating figures in hip-hop history. His career spans decades and defies simple narratives. The Rugged Man has been an up-and-coming star, an industry outcast, banished and forgotten, an underground cult hero, an independent success story, and an influential master of the art form. He can obliterate rappers with ferocious battle rhymes, craft heartfelt personal songs fans can relate to, offend sensitive listeners with shocking vulgarity, challenge corrupt politicians and corporations, paint pictures with captivating storytelling, and deliver jaw-dropping flows that prove his lyrical skills are unmatched. 100%. He's also worked with a staggering number of hip-hop's most respected artists, including legends like the Notorious B.I.G., Wu-Tang, Tech-9, Rakim, Mobb Deep, Talib Kweli, Kool G Rap, Public Enemy, Brother Ali, and more. And while others struggle to maintain a foothold in the ever-changing rap landscape, R.A. the Rugged Man is the rare artist who has become more relevant with time, with each new album more compelling than the last. And man, that doesn't even do justice.
Who the fuck wrote that? That wasn't that bad. I thought it was good. I was like, damn.
Your boy Matt sent that to me, and it's all true.
Oh, Matt from the label. I wonder if he wrote it. I wonder who wrote it. It's a professionally well done bio. I like it.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. I usually shit on the label for everything they do. If they wrote that one, it sounds good to me. You know.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. So, I figure there's a lot of terrain I want to cover with you in the time we have, but of course I want to start with All My Heroes Are Dead. And I'm not just saying this totally honestly, that so far this is my favorite album of 2020, hands down, without a doubt. I love all different kinds of music. I'm very eclectic, but this record is just, it's hard for me to put into words. Like what I love about, like you say in Legendary Loser, you're hip hop's Frank Zappa. And that's what I love about this record. You take listeners on such a ride from really emotional songs that I want to unpack a few with you in a few minutes, but also, you know, your classic, like silly, vulgar, thought-provoking, everything. So all that to say, can you take me back to before you started recording the record and talk about the original vision you had for this album and if and how it kind of elaborated or changed as you were working on it?
Well, shout out to the Dawn of the Dead post in the back, first of all.
We're going to get to horror, too.
Thank you. Peace, Romero. But no.
He signed, just real quick, he signed that. I got to interview him a few years before he passed.
Wow. George was a nice guy, too, right? Everybody I know
such a dude.
George. I never heard a bad word about him.
No, real deal.
So, yo, my fridge started making crazy noises. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
But I was like, is the interview over? No, well, the album, with the way I started working on songs, I didn't have a vision for the album, you know? Like right now, if I start to do a new album, I don't have a vision. I have no idea where to even go with it yet, you know?
Sure.
And the way I did it last time, I was touring a lot, so I just go in the studio and start making records. You know, I got a great engineer, Chris Conway. I got a great production team, and I just start working on music and see what happens. And then as it was going, it made a bunch of good songs, but it didn't feel like something I cared about or was that, didn't it felt like some good rap songs. So I kind of just deaded it. Said, fuck it, And then I just started again, and then it all started kind of shaping itself into like, since you're a fan of the album, you know it's
Yes.
kind of like an orchestrated musical number. It's like, like, and even like a lot of things get dramatic in the album. The music is kind of composed around the drama. It's like
Yeah,
from the intro to the outro, it's all kind of like a big theatrical, piece, and it
definitely.
all kind of just slowly fell together like that. And as I was making it, I knew what I started knowing what I wanted and how I wanted to go, and I realized what was missing from the album, what we needed to get that in order. And I just started kind of making things for what, like a puzzle box. And
Right.
when we were finished with it, me and the engineer were just very, very happy, And the engineer, Chris Conway, one of the greatest mixing engineers ever, he
Yeah.
mixed records for all the greats and worked with all the greats. And he started crying on the train listening to it. And he said, "Hey, this is the album I'm most proud of out of everything I ever worked on." And he's worked with like all the greats. So I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
come from you, Chris." So we knocked it out the park together. We were really proud of it. And it's not just me, y'all, I'm a genius. It's not that.
Right.
I had, the world's greatest DJs on set. I had the world's greatest MCs on set. I had
Yeah.
like tremendous musicians from all over the planet helping. And like, so yeah, I had a lot to do with the making of the album, but I couldn't have done it without everybody involved. There was really a lot of greats involved with making it. So, and I'm real proud of it. And I know I pulled off what I was going for with it. I'm really, I'm my worst critic. I'm like always like,
I hear
that's not
you.
good enough. That's not good enough. That's not right. This isn't right. And sometimes when you get something right, you just feels right. You got it right, So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
So I'm
definitely
glad
got it
you were
right.
able to see the vision and feel what we
Yeah.
did, because I'm very proud of it. So I appreciate you understanding what we tried to do with that.
100%. Fully. The fact that it's like a 75, 80-minute record, that in and of itself is so impressive. Like, and for me, there's not a single skippable track, and that's rare. Like, usually there's always a skippable track, but this record does not have that. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I
go ahead.
might agree with you, because there are songs that I made for some of the degenerates that I
Yep.
knew were going to get like bad reviews from like pretentious ass motherfuckers. And,
Right.
and some people go, you got a really commercial, well made album. Do you really want those songs that are going to ruin it on there? I'm like, of course I want those songs on there.
Hell
And
yeah.
those are going to be my degenerate, scumbag, psychopath fans that were with me from day one's favorite songs.
Yeah.
So of course I'm not going to take those off. So I guess it depends where you are mentally. And then on the flip side of that, I do have the emotional, softer moments on the album where I'm
No
really
doubt.
trying to dig into the hearts, pull them heartstrings, and they might be the degenerate scumbag's least favorite song. So I always said, like, if I made a simple album where it was kind of 10 songs, kind of on a serious tip, political a little bit of life change and this and
Yeah.
that, a couple flows. If I made a simple album, I think the critics would understand it so more, way more easier, because you're not,
Sure.
but and because a lot of times critics too, they it's been the way from the beginning of history. Comedy, they don't understand when you're kind of being
Right.
sarcastic and gross and comedic and over the top. They feel like the Academy Award winners, the person died and they're crying tears and it's sad, and that's the Academy.
Right.
But if you're doing a Marx brother falling over the table, spitting shit out and eating a phone like Harpo Marx, then you're not, that's not the real shit. That's dumb stuff. So meanwhile, Harpo Marx eating a phone is 10 times more intelligent than some girl dying in a movie and the other girl crying and they get the Academy Award. It's like,
Yeah.
so I like to do dumb shit that's a little bit more intellectual than those people are able to see.
100%. See, I'm equal parts degenerate and somewhat adjusted. Like, we'll get into this later. I've been through a lot of mental health issues myself, which is part of what I really love about your record. And you always keep it very real. But before we get to that, going back to, you were saying all the legends you have on this record, from Cool G Rap to Ghostface, Chuck D, Immortal Technique, and I mean, on and on. Can you talk about how that all came together? Like, they all showed up for you in a big way.
Yeah, well, while I was working on the records, I just said, who would be the perfect person for this record, and I wanted a mash out type, stomp you out record. And I started with me and Chris Rivers and Paz on that Slayers Club joint, and then I was like, and I put together chorus like a rowdy, because I want that song when you do it at the show, you got the mosh pits going and the stomping.
For sure.
You want a couple of those high energy, real punch in your face kind of records. And then and I knew it had to be a posse cut, but then I'm like, yo, you want to mash them out fucking song, get the mash out posse, get MOP. So I hit up MOP and Fame and Billy, and then when I got Billy and them on it, I was like, yo, bring in the OG, Ice-T, the original gangster,
Iceberg.
one of the OGs of the game, before there was any of these other Hollywood gangster rappers, Ice-T was before all of them. So, there's Schoolie D, and there's, Ice-T and Just Ice, and, so Ice came in with that gun talk and murder talk, and so things just felt, kind of went into place, and it just kind of all, what do I need here? What do I need there? I know there was a moment when I had a track and I needed something kind of mellow and dope, and I wanted it to be a posse cut of some sort. And I was looking towards like a Run Your Jewels or a De La Soul or something, but that didn't happen. But I got everybody else on the planet that I wanted, in fact, so it's a blessing when things don't happen, because then something else happens, so, but, so.
Got to give a shout out to Onyx too on that. They're been a lifelong Onyx fan, so I was psyched
Onyx,
to see them
MOP,
on that.
Brand Nubian, we
of
really
course
brought out the banging, the masters on there. And Cool G Rap, originally the Dragonfire song, I was figuring, why not a Wu-Tang type of joint, Ghostface, and then Master Killer and maybe Raekwon or something. But I had already had a joint with Deck. So, and Ray, I was having trouble, locking Ray in. And then I was like, it doesn't have to be a Wu-Tang, or what are you doing? I'm like, who's your favorite rap on the planet? Who would murder this beat more than anybody? Cool G Rap. Hit up Cool G Rap, sent it to him, and he gave me just this ridiculously, incredibly masterful G Rap, the way he does it, and he eats motherfuckers up, and he came with his A game. I was really I was jumping around, bouncing around the freaking room when he did that verse, like excited, so a lot of greatness on the record, man. A lot of great things on the record. A lot of things that even if I wasn't on the record, I would be very happy.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you are. You came in and you crushed your verse. And I want to shout out to you. Put out a really cool... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But then you get... most people aren't complaining. But then, I wish he didn't have so many features. But idiots have to understand. I gave them like 13 or 14 solo tracks before the features. Like there's 20 tracks on it, and I gave him I think 13 solo tracks, and I did a lot of ass rapping. Like there's certain songs with 4 verses, certain songs with 3 long verses. So like the amount of rapping I did in them 12 or 13 tracks is more rapping than people do on 2 or 3 albums. So nobody can complain, oh, too many features. Nah. We made a solid we made sure to make it not feel like that, So.
No, yeah, definitely. I love like the song for your daughter. I was just gonna say, the song for your daughter where you're like, you're done, and then you come back and like, no, fuck it, you do another verse, and because that's
Well,
just you're doing what you feel.
that wasn't on purpose. You know what happened was, I was working on that song, and I made a chorus, and it was a song I wanted my sister, my daughter to love, and my daughter to want to listen to. And, after I'm gone, she'd still listen to the song. So every chorus I was coming up with didn't feel good enough to me. And I was trying all these different choruses. And then, Novel, who's a great rapper and songwriter and singer, and he's I think he was nominated for Grammys in 5 different categories, from like country to R&B to he's
Wow.
like a really undercover great. And his grandfather was Solomon Burke. His father was like one of the biggest writers for Motown. He wrote like Dancing in the Street and all of those big huge
Wow.
records,
Yeah.
stuff from Marvin Gaye, and he just comes from a musical family. So I hit up Novel and I said, listen, I got this song that's important to me. I need you to knock it out the park. So he did a whole verse though. He did the dope chorus, but then he threw a verse in there. And I was like, I already got 3 verses to my daughter on this. I can't but then I was listening to his verse. I was like, yeah, but you can't take that off. It's so dope. And I
Right.
said, you know what? If I keep my verse, the song is too long. I mean, uh, not too long. And what's supposed to happen, it's too long. So that's why I made the joke. I said, I know the song's supposed to be over, but I got to
Right.
give you another one. Boom. And people actually really love that we did that. And I'm an old school cat, where songs now is supposed to be over after 2 minutes and 12 seconds to, boom, boom.
Right.
Uh, let's go back to the originators, where they was doing 13-minute raps
Yeah.
and 10-minute songs and 8-minute songs and extended versions. So the song is still, if I'm not mistaken, under 5 minutes. So it
Yeah.
all worked out properly. It all worked out really well, and I'm very, really proud of that record.
Yeah, no doubt. And before we move on, there's a couple of songs
Oh,
we've already talked about a lot of. There is I'm sorry, your video is breaking up a little bit, so I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you. You're freezing a little bit. I hear your audio fine, but apologies if I'm interrupting.
No, you're not.
Just,
I'm interrupting by accident. It's fine.
oh no, you're good. You're good. So 2 songs that I wanted to have you walk me through it, if you don't mind, was the first one, "Gotta Be Dope," with your protege A.F.R.O, who is just, he slays it, as do you. And I mean, when I heard that, like, I couldn't believe it. I had to listen to it like 3 times to get like wrap my head around that song, and still wasn't wrapped around it. So can you talk to me about, like, and DJ Jazzy Jeff is on that as well, who, icon. So, can you tell me a little bit about putting that song together with A.F.R.O? And you rap so fast. If I remember or read correctly, you are clocked in as the fastest rhymer, correct?
No, I seen that meme that was out there. What happened was they said, "Oh, beat the fastest." I don't know. I guess in the hit record or whatever, the fastest for the Rap God or something. So somebody took both of the rhymes, mine and M's, and mine's faster. So it's like, I think he was 11.8 or something. I was 12.5. I don't remember exactly, but my
Sure.
rhyme was more words per second. It was a faster rhyme. And was it Rap God or the other one? I don't know, whatever the fuck one it was. But they said,
Right.
"I'll give this book," or whatever. And but no, my rhyme's faster. So somebody made a meme of that and showed it. And the reason that song happened was, and I don't think M has the Guinness Book of fastness of all songs. I think it was like of a top 10 song or something like that. It's not like,
Sure.
there's guys that do 14 syllables a second, and like, or some, I don't know. I don't even know how to count that shit. I don't even do that.
Right.
I don't count syllables. I just rap. So like,
Right.
The way that happened was, me and A.F.R.O did a song for my album originally, and he was my protege. And I thought his rap was good, but I knew I was going to eat him up on it. I was like, I'm not going to put my protege on my album if he gives me something good that I know I'm going to eat him up.
Right.
He has to be like, when EPMD used to put rappers on, that rapper would shine,
Yeah.
they put K Solo on Knick Knack Paddywhack and be like, damn, or like, Redman on Hardcore, and like, DOS effects on Pop Goes the Nine, or whatever. They put DOS on things. They would always bring their artists on to like really shine, you know.
Right.
And so when he gave me a good ass verse, I knew I'd eat him. So I've kind of deaded the song. I was like, this song isn't even up to par for the album. The beat's okay, his rhyme's dope, and then I called him. I said, hey, listen, I got this beat. I'm gonna send it to you. I sent it to him, and he was like, yo, that beat's crazy. So I said, dope. I said, now I need you to kill me on it. I need you to come from my head and try to fucking splatter my brain. Like, don't give me no cool shit. Go crazy. And then when he gave his verse back, I was like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? this kid, oh, Jesus, this kid, you know? So then I had to lock myself in the room and really, like, 2 days, all those syllable murdering, so that was A.F.R.O inspired me to go really hard, because them young kids, they come for your head if you if they see blood or whatever. I think the first time he's like, oh, R.A.'s my father figure. I love R.A. and I'm gonna give him a dope verse and we're gonna have fun on the track. I don't want to have fun with you, motherfucker. I want you to try to take my head off.
Right.
Come on, motherfucker. So it's a really one of them records where we both go on for each other's heads and we're both very competitive with each other, and I think it turned out to be a great record. And then Jazzy Jeff, one of the greatest scratch DJs of all time, came in and really, really murdered the cuts for me. So
totally did.
Shout out to the all-time great DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, awesome. That's so cool. I didn't know that A.F.R.O was one who inspired that. Like the flows on that are just mind bending. So props to him for sure.
He inspired me to go. Because the fast rapping, you want to do it because the fans really love it. But then now everybody does it, and everybody does it, and everybody does it, and everybody does it, So, I was doing fast flows for decades, and now like that's a hot topic again. Okay. So you want to go? Okay, I could pull back and do slow better than your slow rappers, So then it's like, do I even want to do a fast rap anymore? But then you go, yeah, you want to show the world that you could do it better than all these motherfuckers that are doing it. So do a couple, So sometimes you got to throw them fast flows and say, yo, you kids think you're nice. Look what the old man could do. I'll fucking eat you, So
I gotta say,
After was a young boy with an old man soul, though. He's like from our era, even though he's not.
Right.
He's our era. He's not like one of these young boys, So.
No, like all the artists he shouts out in his rhyme are like, that's what I grew up on, and that's why I love you. Is the people you give respect to. That's what I grew up on too. So. Super cool to hear that.
Is that a Baphomet goat over your shoulder?
It is, yes. Not satanic. I'm just all over the place. I'm into occultism. I'm into Hinduism, Buddhism.
I'm being interviewed by the Baphomet goat staring at me the whole time.
Yeah, he's placed there intentionally just to fuck with you. But
so I gotta go put my kids back to sleep. I'll see you later.
No, it's not like that. I promise. But yeah, before I get into the other song, and this kind of segues. I work weekly, aside from being an author and a public speaker. That's what I do for a living in this podcast. Every week I go down to a residential mental health facility for teenagers. There's 2 campuses, one for boys and one for girls, and they're 13 to 19 years old. And first of all, sometimes we'll talk about music, and I'll bring my guitar in and play a little bit for them, but whenever I ask them like who they're listening to, it's like little this or little that, and it's like, all right, I don't want to hate on anyone, and they're saying how they're such great rappers, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I put on your verse from Gotta Be Dope, and this was a month ago, and they were all just jaw on the floor, like, wait, who's that? Because they don't know, like they don't know Slug, they don't know you, they don't know like the really good shit. But anyways, I just wanted to give you respect for that. It was really cool to see them just flip out over it.
Yeah, that's the thing when you play some of my stuff for people who don't know about it. That's why we're always able to grab new fans too, because wait, I heard the name, and somebody plays the album and they go, oh my God, this guy. So like a lot of times it takes a little introducing, So yeah. So
Absolutely.
thanks for showing some of your kids what we
Always.
do here in my camp, because we don't have the big online promotion like some of these guys, but we try. Yeah.
Well, it's what I love. You're independent. You do it yourself. You put your money into this. Like, this is you. It's not a team of people. So, very DIY, and that's, close to my heart too. So yeah, going back to the teens, so I've been doing that for 5 years, and these are young adults that are there for addiction, for suicide attempts, self-harm, eating disorders, you name it. And I mean, it's not like a cry for help. They're really in it. And it's very difficult work, heavy heart stuff. But you do this song, Wondering, off the record. And I'm not too proud to say I cried, man. I cried when I heard that. And sometimes I still cry when I listen to it. The video, the song, it just, it strikes a chord right in my heart. So, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that song.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's a song based on quite a few different stories. Even though it's three stories in one, it's still like the second story is based on three different stories and intertwined into one story.
Right.
And the third story is a couple other people from the neighborhood that we know. So, they're all based on real characters. The heroin addiction, obviously, Long Island is crazy right now, and you meet a lot of people who lost loved ones, and then the relationship between the mother losing her child. My stepmother lost 2 kids, my sister lost her son, so it's easy to write from that perspective because people who you love a lot have lost their children. So those were the strongest bars, I think, to me at least, that make, when the mother loses her kid at the end and she's reminiscing about him being a little boy and baseball and all, little league, and she's just, and I said, how could a mother live? I don't even remember the rhyme, but when she buries her own son, it's like, damn. So that was all based on real people, and people who I knew in the neighborhood who were young and they died over that stupid shit, And then the first verse was, you see, when I first started the song, I started writing it. It was almost like a Still Get Through the Day part 2. It started like, I was, talking about my life and my family. And then I was like, there's too much like that record. I've been there before, but then I was like, you know what though? It's a nice introduction to the other stories, almost some Rod Serling Twilight Zone shit. So I started off with a little 8-bar intro of who I am, what I've been through.
Right.
Boom, go to the chorus, and then we tell the stories of other people, so it's grounded in, hey, this man telling the story been hit a little bit too. So yeah. And then the second story about the woman who was raped, that's based on a real person, and she didn't commit suicide, but I know someone else who committed suicide. So it's a couple that was based on 2 different events. And, I like storytelling. And I think sometimes when you share stories that people have been through, and it's almost like journalism, where you're reporting and you're looking through experiences, and you talk to people who've been through things, and you write the story. So, or nonfiction writing, or, however you want to do. So I like storytelling, and really sometimes when you tell people the story that they've been through, or somebody they know been through, a lot of loss, it really touches people. And so I like to do those kind of stories, sometimes,
Yeah. So, and I know, I mean, you're very transparent about what you've been through on your albums, and I do want to get into that a little bit with you. But before that, if you don't mind me asking, if you were in a room with like, say, 15 teenagers, in this mental health facility, what I know, like, advice is kind of cliche, but what would you say to them? They're like feeling broken, they're feeling hopeless. They're young, and they just already have kind of given up on themselves. What would you say?
Well, the thing is, because I make songs the way I do sometimes, I have those kind of songs, I get a lot of people who are suicidal or going through it, or lost kids or lost family members, or have, handicapped people, you know, in their family who are suffering. And so a lot of people contact me, you know, and want me to give them advice. And it's not always easy because, you know, you don't want to sound pretentious. You don't want to sound like you're just, oh, it's the mother of my kids. I thought it was my son waking up. So that's good. So even if they do wake up, we're covered. Hey, Rini. I'm doing an interview right now. I thought you was one of the kids coming down here. I was like, oh my God. All right. It's recording, or I'll talk to you later. But I'm glad it's you and not the kids, all right? How you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. So oh yeah. So it's not always easy. What do you tell them? You say, oh, it's gonna get better, you know. But they hear that from everybody, you know,
Right.
or you know, all the loss, all the hurt that you know that's there to strengthen you and give you power. And but, you know, it's you could tell them. It's almost like when somebody's going through drug addiction and you want to stop somebody from doing heroin. How do you stop
Yeah.
them? What do you say to them? We love you. People care about you. We need you. That's all true. But how do you convince somebody? So to sit in a
Yeah.
room full of kids that really want to end their lives, you know, you could say, hey, like, look, this is a small part of your life. You're young. Like, trust me. Just give it some time, and you know, few years in the future, it's going to be a new sunshine. It's going to be a new universe for you. You're not even going to worry about the problems you're worrying about today. But, you know, but does a kid really even digest that or want to hear that or even understand it, you know? So
Yeah.
it's a hard thing. What do you tell somebody when they want to hurt themselves, you know, whether it's drugs, whether
Yeah.
it's a self-inflicted, you know, and thoughts of suicide. There's, you know, you're only one person, and you could try your hardest. You could look them in their eyes and give them honesty and say, hey, the world needs you. The world loves you. I know it seems like the world's against you. I know it seems like everyone hates you. I know it feels like the world will be better without you and your family will be better without you. But none of that is true. None of it is true, you
Right.
know? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know.
Well, I appreciate that.
The mother of my kids is here. She's hearing me say this stuff. Like, why don't you go listen to yourself? Like, you really have suicide advice for people, you suicidal motherfucker?
Well, I
You're the last
appreciate what,
person could have suicide advice, all right? Like, you be sitting home like this half the time. You know? Nah, I'm just, I don't know.
I appreciate your, you know, I would expect nothing less your honesty. You know, and the way I approach it is I've been through addiction. I've attempted suicide myself. So I've been in psych hospitals. I've been in detoxes, rehabs, jail cells, more emergency rooms than I count. I mean, it's literally a miracle that I'm alive. I was intubated at one point because my
I don't
blood
know what that
alcohol
word
level.
means. What intubated means. What intubated.
Oh, sorry. So I wasn't breathing anymore. I was a 0.6 alcohol level, and I wasn't breathing, so they had to put a tube in my lungs to breathe for me, and then another tube in my stomach to like flush shit out. So it got really bad for me for a long time. But the way I approach it with the teens is, instead of, you know, I try to help them and give them advice in a way, but I think it's more of the example, you know, seeing like I made it through that, and so many of my friends have died to overdoses, to suicide, and things of that nature. And you know, I don't know why I'm still here and they're not, but that's why I feel so compelled to do that and work with them. And, you know, to circle back to Wondering, that's why that song just really, really hit me. And I just want to say thank you for putting that out there. And the fact that you didn't hold back, which of course you won't, but, you know, the way, you know, you worded everything, it was raw, and it just made me think of, I'm a big fan of Charles Bukowski, the writer, and his stuff is very visceral, and that's, you know, it hit me the same way his writing does. So I really respect you for that, and thank you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thanks. So while we're talking about mental health struggles, I mean, like I said, you're transparent about what you've been through, and I mean, I know you're transparent about you still struggle, as do I. I still get depressed. I still have thoughts of like picking up drugs again, or, you know, once in a while the suicidal ideations might come back. So how have you, through the years, how did you find the way to kind of bring yourself back, kind of rein yourself in, and now how do you cope with it? I'm sure your kids play a big role in that, but can you tell me a little bit about that?
The kids, you'd be like, that's if they wasn't here, maybe it's time to go.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe wait till they're 18 or something. So give them all right, go. How the mother bird say, "Hey, go fly." Yeah,
Right.
18, time to fly. Daddy's out. Yeah, but I was just make it to 18. Guys, wait till the kid's 18. No.
So is it just your
My
kids?
first step was I got rid of all the Baphomet goats in my house.
I should have moved it. No, but I keep it real too.
I was just playing.
But yeah, no, really, like if you don't mind, like I'm very fascinated in people that
Your
have.
mind lies to you too, because then you get beat up in your head, and your mind starts saying, "Oh, maybe everybody's better without you. Maybe even your kid. Maybe you're bad influence on your kids. Maybe you're too crazy. Maybe everybody's better without you. So your mind tells you crazy shit. So you start thinking everything worse than it is. So it's not always. Your kids don't always save you. So. So you got, when the demons are in your head lying to you, you gotta make sure that you don't let them lie to you too loud, or you don't believe them, or whatever wording I'm trying to look for.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Gotta know that, hey, they do need you. So people need you in the world. So
yeah, I appreciate that. And so, today, like you start the record out by saying, back in the day, like you had mental problems, and here you are, like a lot of people couldn't have come back from that, and you didn't just come back, like you come out with this record that's it's a hip hop iconic album already. What would you attribute that to? Aside from your kids, is there anything else, or was it really just the kids?
It's the competitive nature of hip hop where I came from, where it was always to top what was there. Like when Run DMC came out, they were trying to top Houdini. And when EPMD came out, they was trying to top and then when Rakim came out, they was trying to top this guy. Kane came out, that was always trying to step it up another notch and step it up another notch. It was more in modern hip hop where it goes, oh, we just kind of make music, and whatever the vibe is, we're not competing with each other. It's like, but I'm not from that era. I'm from an era of stage dominance and show rocking, party rocking, whoever the best is in the building, whoever left the best imprint for the night. So if I'm going to do an album, it has to be high caliber, high level, or I don't feel like doing one. I don't ever want to do one again if it's not going to be high caliber level. And it is, when you're doing it independently, there's so much work attached to putting out the album and promoting the album and getting the videos done and trying to figure out ways for the world to hear it. And because every time when you do it independently, oh, it's so underrated. It's such a great album, but it's underrated. It's like you get tired of hearing the underrated title. You want to be like, yo, you want to be appreciated for the work you do sometimes. So there's people like yourself who do appreciate that. So we appreciate you guys. Like I said on the damn song, I said, for every fan who said my music saved their life, this is for you. Without the love from fans, I'd be dead. You saved my life too. It's like I eat off of you guys just as much as you eat off of me. It's like the whole circle. It's like, and that's the thing too that goes in your mind. You go, all these people are very committed to you and loyal to you, and if you give them something less and disappoint, and don't give them something that they could brag to everybody they know about being a fan of yours, you got to give them something that they're proud. Like, damn, this is why I support him over these other rappers, because look at the shit he does. You got to give him that, or there's no reason to give him anything. Obviously, I could put out music that I'm not proud of for money. I could go to the studio next week, get 10 beats, rap to 10 beats in a week or two, and just release it and make a ton of money. Put it up on iTunes, make $100,000 off a new album, with no promotion, with no, don't spend any money on studio, give some low quality shit, but I
Right.
can't do that. I take my money, I put it all into music videos, all into promotion, all into mixing and producing and bringing live musicians in and mastering. I just really make sure that it's top quality, as top quality as it could possibly get. So.
Yeah, I wish it absolutely is. So, lyrically, your flows are not only amazing, but your words, you're as degenerate as you might say you are, you're extremely intelligent and you're very well versed in the ways of the world.
Well, on record.
And well, all right, so you do a good job on the record, but
I
no,
don't function that properly in the real world. I'm a kind of bit of a mess, but on records, I could sound like I know a little something, huh?
you definitely. But so that's what I want to ask is, I know like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, this is all corporate or corporate monetized, whatever. Where do you go to, for your education? Where do you learn from? What is it reading? Is there sources?
All of the above. It's like you got to listen to every side. You have to listen to all narratives. You have to listen to, you have to read all type of historical events that actually took place and things that are debated and not debated. And you got to, and you can't just read one source and swear, hey, I know the truth because I read a book. You got, because the guy who wrote that book might have an agenda. The guy that wrote that book might be ignorant, And I learned that from first hip hop, where like I've seen like all these writers, like hip hop people who supposedly are the professionals, right, on a craft that I've studied my whole life, and I know pretty much most of the history of it. And I see all the false information and false facts and screwed up timelines and all. Like, I'm like, damn, these are the writers that get everything fucking wrong. So if they was doing that in hip hop, I go, well, what the fuck are they doing with all of history? Like, not just them. I'm talking about historians. So you're taking, just reading a book. You can't just take the one book. You have to read. If you really want to have an opinion on something, you have to take quite a few sides of it, And like you said, you got the MSNBCs and you got the Fox, and you got one group of people that listen to the MSNBC because that's a super left, but not even left, super Democrat, like fake ass news. And then you got the Fox, who's super right, fake ass news. So it's like they have these agendas, and people want to go where they feel protected by the side of the story that they want to believe. So if you listen to Fox all new day, you're going to believe something. If you listen to MSNBC all day, you're going to believe something. And that's part of the division. There's really no in the middle, nobody's in the middle. Nobody tells you the news. They just want to tell you the news that is going to feed their agendas. They don't care about news. News isn't, the real news isn't important to them. They don't tell you the real news, So you have to look around at everything. And you see, when you do that, you see so much. Oh, thanks, kiddo. You going to bed? All right. I got about another 15 minutes here. Yeah. The kids are all, you printed that out? I got paperwork from Switzerland. Because I have to do a show there this weekend. And, with COVID, you have to bring all this strict paperwork to make sure you're working there for a reason or whatever, you just got to make sure. Right. Yeah. So.
Well, so that's something I wanted to ask you about is, it's great that you're able to get on the road and do live shows to support the record. What's it like now out there in Europe, doing these shows during COVID?
Well, I lost all my tours, like everybody else.
Right.
the album dropped. It had great reviews. It got, a lot of fans. Everybody was talking about it. Not everybody, but, a ton of people talking about it.
Right.
It went number 3 on the commercial charts in on the R&B charts in England. It went number 22, Billboard US, so, and like number 1 on all the iTunes charts when it dropped. It did great all over the world, France, Germany, and but I couldn't tour off of it because of COVID. But that's the problem that everybody's going through. But now, last week in Belgium was my first show. Finally, they did like a COVID-friendly show, and nobody got COVID going to it. You're all sat in chairs and you wore your fucking masks, and so it's not like what I like. I like to really interact and blood, sweat, and tears, and moshing, and bringing people on the stage to dance. And if somebody can spit really dope, bring them dope rapper up, bring a beatboxer from the street up, jump on chairs and hug people and sweat on people. Like, my shows are really interacting with the crowd. That's what they always have been. So now what it is, you got to stay on the stage. And they said, I was trying to get everybody to jump and scream, and they said, you're not allowed to get them to jump. They have to stay seated. And I was like, well, it's our ratio. They were jumping like crazy. It's like, yeah, next time we should have told you ahead of time, but you can't. So now Switzerland, I'm doing a show on Saturday, and I guess I'm not allowed to make them jump. But everybody, it had been so long since people had went to a rap show in Europe.
Yeah.
So Belgians were fucking hitting me up all week saying, it was the greatest experience. It was legendary. It was awesome. So where I was kind of insecure, like, that's not an RA show. But I knew everybody felt good. I knew everybody did have a great time. I knew it. Like, when you rock it, you leave knowing that they had a good time, but you're still like, damn, you know what I could have gave them? Like, we were all, but it's a new universe. It's a new world. Like, this COVID-friendly show is much better than me rapping on the internet to them. So they're flesh and blood. They're this close. They're seeing me, and so it's steps closer back to where we were at. And hopefully, I have my tours were starting in April. I was going to get so many shows. They all got canceled and pushed to October. Then October, most of them got pushed back to April again. So we'll see. Hopefully, my whole tour is started again in April, but we'll see what the world has to say about that, So.
Cool. I hope you, I'm in Connecticut, so we don't get a lot of good hip-hop. It's usually we have to go to New York or Mass, but hopefully we will see you around this area sooner than later.
Connecticut, my guy John Scully's out there. He's he's a boxing, he fought for the title a few times. He was a contender, and then he trained a couple champions to become champion fighters. John Ice Scully, look him up. He's one of the best guys I know. He's a really great guy, but he's Connecticut. I went to his gym and we sparred a few rounds. He kept it easy on me. He's that jab, but come on, I'm jabbing him, but he's a professional fighter and he sparred with all the greats. So, and when he was a little kid, he was getting like, pointers from Archie Moore, one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. And, he met Muhammad Ali, all them, so trained fighters to beat Bernard Hopkins. So, my little stupid plus it was on tour. So like we stopped at his gym and I'm doing my little jab for a couple rounds, but those guys, they used to doing 10, 12 rounds. I'm winded after like 2.5, 3. Like, oh shit. And then he threw like, just play with me, pow. And I felt my nose kind of go. I was like, oh shit. If he wanted to put a little more power on that, he probably could have snapped that shit. Professional fighters. People sleep on how they're professionals. That's what the fuck they do. You think a guy looks like a normal guy, but they're not normal. They're professional fighters.
Definitely.
You could be a tough guy rapper, but these are professional fighters, So go in there with 3 rounds. Go in there 3 rounds with one of them guys,
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So obviously you talk about the MAGA hats and Trump supporters on the record, but I also know you're not a fan of Biden, which I understand. What are your thoughts on this election? Like,
Well, it's exactly what you just heard. It's a mess. It's disgusting. And Biden's a
yeah,
horrible person,
I
you
hear
know.
you.
And I mean, he's a disgusting person, horrible person. And we're on this whole anti-police brutality movement. So they get like a DA, Kamala Harris, and they get Joe Biden, one of the strictest, crime bill motherfuckers. Like,
Yeah,
so like really, and they're, oh yeah, we got to get them out. Like, wait, are we on this anti-police brutality mission right now? Is this really what we're on, or is that fake? Because why are we gravitating now towards Biden and Kamala? So
right,
it's and Trump is pro police brutality. He's pro, not just pro cop, pro police brutality.
for sure. Yeah,
He's had those statements where he said, "Oh, and when you put them in a police car, bang their head on the car," and like he
yeah,
said this. Trump supporters, no, he didn't. No, go Google the quotes. Go. There's video of him
yeah.
talking about, yeah, and when you get the criminal, put them and bang their head in the car and take them away. He's very, and the
The
death
good old
penalty.
days when they would take him out on the stretcher. He said at a rally for someone interrupting. Like,
Oh
very
yeah,
pro. Yeah, it was like last year, but it was crazy.
yeah, yeah. So we got, it was supposedly, yeah. There's no change. There's no change, and we're all gonna stay. Biden and Kamala, they're pro-war as could be. And, Joe Jurgensen, she put up a cool meme the other day where it said, if the non-voters were an election 2016, I'm probably wording it wrong, and it showed all the states that it would be, they would have wiped the red and blue off the map if the non-voters voted, So it's
Yeah,
like everybody goes, oh, if you're a third-party person, you're a vote for Trump, or you're a vote. No, it's stupid idiots. Like, look at how many people you haven't tapped into that aren't voting. Why
yeah.
don't these people, go and fight for their votes rather than yelling at Susan Sarandon, Yeah.
So I know we've only got a few minutes left. You mentioned the Dawn of the Dead poster. I write for Fangoria, which is awesome. I think we have a mutual friend in Tony Timpone over at Fangoria.
Oh, I love Tony. I thought he retired though.
No, well, Fangoria just went through a shift with ownership. But yeah, no, he's going to be on the new. It premieres, I think, Saturday or Sunday night. The new series or season of Eli Roth History of Horror show, which he was on last season. But yeah, he's still doing stuff with
I
Fangoria.
guess he left the editor position for the guy Chris Alexander years ago, right? Was that
Yeah, right. So I don't know exactly what his title is, but I know he's still, associated with it in some way. I'm just a writer for them.
Tony's a sweetheart. He's a great guy. The first time I met Tony was they were screening Demon Night. Remember that movie Ernest Dickinson
Of
directed
course.
it?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't know where I was. Maybe it was a horror convention. And he's like, hey, you want to see this Demon Night movie? It wasn't out yet. It was like, a week before it came out. He's like, we're going to have a screening. So he gave me, and I was dating some purpled hair girl. And me and the purple hair girl, we went to see Demon Night. And that's the first time I met Tony in person, I think. But we knew who each other was because he's friends with Frank Henenlotter, and Henenlotter is one of my dear friends. And, so shout out to Tony Timpone. Yeah, I love Tony.
Yeah. I'm going to have to let him know he came up in this conversation. But so horror, I see you wearing like horror shirts in a lot of the pictures you post, which I love. Like horror is my genre. Like I love it. I'm actually working on a new book right now. It's a horror book, but also like how can we learn more about ourselves and use horror to, become more integrated humans. And it's fun as hell because horror is more than just like splatter to me anyways. But what are some of your favorite horror films? Like I've seen you in a Phantasm shirt, I think, and I forgot what else. But
Well, I love Phantasm. I went to see when they did the new the remastering on the big screen. That was a great night.
yeah.
Phantasm on the big screen, and it brought out all my childhood happiness. I was excited like a little fat kid at 10 years old all over again. I love Phantasm, and in fact, I'm a fan of the Phantasm films, and Don Coscarelli. I was in the studio, and Don Coscarelli was doing a book signing. I saw it on Instagram. One of the girls, I think, who's home girl? The girl, oh my God, the girl from Phantasm 2.
Oh shit.
I
Yeah,
feel like a piece of shit. She's awesome, and she's beautiful, and she's cool, and she was a penthouse pet, and yeah, but you know who I'm talking about. She was like, "I love
do.
your bald
Yes.
head, Reggie. I love your bald head," and she, you know, and then her hair came out at the end of the movie. But she had posted something. Oh, we're all Phantasm crew is doing a book signing at. So I was like, oh shit, and I was in California. I'm like, fuck it. You know what? You were supposed to meet Don for years. Go stop by the bookstore. So I stopped by and I met Reggie and Don and the whole crew and cast of Phantasm. Not Michael, but everybody. It was
Right.
it was a really cool. Quick minute. I think the place was closing. I got there late, so 10 minutes. Don knew who I was because we communicate, and he was like, "This is Ari the Rugged Man. He's a famous rapper." I was like, yo, Don. So that was nice meeting Phantasm. Don.
Yeah.
Don's the man. And no, I'm a big Frank Henenlotter fan. I love Frankenhooker. I love Brain Damage. I love Basket Case. I love Basket Case 2 even. I like 3 even, but I don't know. There's so many incredibly great horror films in history, so it's hard to like, which ones do you like? I don't know. You know which one? I'm not saying. Well, the original Cat People, the Turner, version. The original is one of the greatest films ever made, horror. But I was just talking about the remake. I have like this love and hate relationship with the damn remake, the Paul Schrader version. It's like I watch it all the time. I watch it like every year or 2 or 3, every 3 years for like since it came out. And I'm always like, is this the greatest, or is it terrible, or is it the worst, or is it great? Or I hate this movie. I really like this movie, and I think about it, and then I put it like, I'm like, should I watch The Cat People? Like, no, it sucks compared to the original. And then I'm like, put it on, and I'm like, is this movie great? It's one of these movies. Yeah, you have any movies like that where you like have a love-hate relationship with it, where you're like, is this great, or is it? What am I looking for? Like, so I think it's really actually good. But I think because the original's so perfect, you start going, this is too much. They're doing too much. They don't need to do all of this. The Cat People is the Cat People, But then you go, nah, different picture. It's a different film he's making. So appreciate this film because it's not the Cat People. It's not the original film. So I just rewatched that recently, and I got the same thing. I said, I think I really like it this time. I think I like it a lot this time.
That's like me with the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes. I catch a lot of shit for this, but I love the original. Halloween is my shit. But when Rob Zombie did it, I like what he did with it. John Carpenter said, "Make this your own," and I know John Carpenter didn't like it.
Anything in the world.
See,
did you like?
And that's. But yes, so that's what you're saying. Am I crazy? Is this awesome or is this terrible? Because I know the second one's super hated on, but I love it. And then I'm like, wait a minute, is it horrible? Like, so just exactly what you said is my experience with that one.
I hate it so much.
Most people do.
First one, it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't dislike it. I said, whatever. And I like the one scene when little Michael Myers had the mask on. So it was kid Michael. I thought there was some cute moments like that, but like the second one, I really disliked it. Like I remember sitting there like angry, like I disliked this movie, and I haven't seen it since. So I remember. Oh yeah, like what it is? Rob Zombie has this tendency, which is his style. Devil's Rejects, House of Corpses, House of Corpses. He makes everybody kind of unlikable, and all his characters are like unlikable. And yeah, but you gotta have somebody you kind of like in a movie. Somebody you relate to, somebody you want to fuck with, somebody that you care about. And Rob never does that. But that's his style. I'm not, so Rob sucks because no. So I deal with it in some of his films, but then like part 2, then he turns Loomis into like this terrible guy that's like the egotist maniac asshole jerk, and I was like, now everybody has to be like. It just like I don't remember much about it, but that's one of the things I said. Yeah, Rob, slow down. That everybody is dislikable on the planet thing in every movie, especially Halloween 2. Like you're making the Loomis character way less interesting. And what I hated about the first one was. The thing that's so great about Halloween, the original, is evil. evil exists.
You don't know the backstory, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you don't even need, because the backstory is that he's evil. That's scarier. But when he took all the horror cliches of a serial killer and put it in Michael, oh, he's torturing an animal. Oh, he's seen his
Right.
mother have sex in front of a guy. Like that's every horror movie, and the mother was doing sexy stuff in front of the kid. I was like, so he was taking all the cliches of serial killers and turned it into Halloween. I'm like, no, you just took everything that actually works from evil. Like the kid is born, he's evil. You took everything away from that and turned it into a psychological cliche of every cliche.
Sure.
So I wasn't a fan of the Rob Zombie Halloweens, but I respect that he's making the films. He was a musician. He had this huge, enormous career as
Right.
Rob Zombie, and a great music career. And then he loved films, so he made this career, and he gets everything financed, and he makes movie after movie. So you can't knock his hustle. Like he's really I respect Rob Zombie a lot, even
Yeah.
if some of his films aren't for me. So it's not like. So I respect that he's a man that was able to do music, do movies, do all of that stuff. So I'm actually a fan of the man more than I'm a fan of the film. So yeah.
No, I respect that. I know I'm in the minority on that one, so I own it. So last thing, I know we're just about out of time, but September 26th, you posted on social media that All My Heroes Is Dead will most likely be your final album. Do you think because you're feeling fatigued after it, or are you just feeling like you're done?
Well, I'm not done as an MC. I'm still going to be murdering everybody, But making an album takes, for me, it's a lot of draining and straining. And I know that sounds like pretentious, but it's not, because I'm not normal with my thoughts. Like nothing's ever good enough and this and that. So it's like when I work on an album, I have to bring in, I really go really deep into it, and then not the writing. The writing's the easy part, but maybe COVID's kicking me in the ass, because I don't have like what happens when I do an album. I go and that year I'll tour and do 150 shows. Right. So I have money every night, boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. So I could take that money and reinvest it in myself. So I'll sit in the studio for hours and days and days and days and work on stuff. And and right now I'm like, do I want to go and spend 2-3 years locking myself in the room writing, and locking myself in the studio recording and mixing and making something that I'm, do I want to do that, or do I take 3-4 years of my life and find another venture? And another thing, it's like I see a lot of the new school kids, the way they do it. This is what's also coming to mind, is they do songs, they shoot videos, and they drop them. And the things get way more, if you drop one at a time, they get way more recognition per song. Where you drop 20 songs at the same time and everyone hears them at that time, and then, it kind of slows down. But if I'm thinking maybe what I would do is make songs and do videos and drop songs and drop. No need to torture myself of making this perfect, structured, theatrical experience from every,
sure.
The reward might not be fully what it needs to. I don't know. COVID got everybody fucked up right now, because we're in a different situation. It's in a different universe. And now the internet and the attention span thing, you say, hey, if I make, because I thought about it, I said, if I took All My Heroes Is Dead and dropped one song every month after I made it with a video or something, would it have been even bigger? But it just wouldn't have been an album. Or, and that's also what happens, is you drop things and then you work on things, and then songs get leaked or songs get heard in studios, and then other people go, oh, that's interesting, and then they bite a flow or they work on things. So if you make the song, drop it, it's documented that you did it,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
rather than this, the song can't come out until the whole, picture is worked out properly and makes sense. And so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a movie this year. I got a couple scripts, and maybe I'll just go to Belgium or Norway or one of these European countries and get a great DP and a couple really incredible actors and shoot something small and beautiful. Not beautiful. I'm not saying beautiful. The story's so beautiful. I'm saying like, I have a great DP that could really photograph it and make it look beautiful, and
Right.
and some incredible actors that make your words sound like they're good.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'm thinking maybe before I leap forward into locking myself in a studio for a year or two, maybe I'll do a feature film, to lock myself in the house for a year and do a movie, or a couple movies, So
What just quickly, what genre would you be doing? Like what
horror,
pulls to you? Horror.
horror,
Awesome.
horror. I have one biopic that I'd love to make, and from a legend, but an underground legend, about an underground legend. And I always talk to her about doing it, and but the problem is that I can't make that small with a DP and a couple actors. It's like a big
Right.
picture. So like that, I want to just figure out, I have to shop that one, and I don't know if I even want to direct that one. It's just a big, big picture. But I don't want to say nothing about who or what, but
Sure.
yeah, I got a really interesting biopic under my belt that I'm working on, but I'd want a budget for that. Like that's something where you got to go shop and get 10, 15 million and attach, a couple name actors to it and make it real, So
Yeah.
the other ones that I'm talking about, I'm thinking I can make for a couple 100,000, So
Well, my fingers are crossed that you get to do it. I'm sure it would be sick as hell. So hopefully we'll see that. I'm really glad to hear you're not hanging up the mic. I got nervous when I read that post. So yeah, everything you said makes sense.
I just did my final album. I'm
Right.
I just recorded for Vinny Paz's album. I'm working with DV Alias Christ. I got to hand in. I got so much stuff that I'm finishing, and it's not out yet. So yeah, it's not hanging up the mic. It's just that I just don't know if I want to commit to a full, and I don't know if I want to do an album that's 10 songs and like 10 dope songs with an intro and outro. Fans would love that too, but I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to do that. I think that this was such a. I don't know. All My Heroes is dead. It's just that it's just the album I wanted to make. So do you make something less than that? Do you let's just put out some dope songs and make some money off of it because the fans will buy it? No, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah. I feel you. When I finished listening to the record, I'm like, wow, where does he go from here now? Like, it's a masterpiece, man. I'm not blowing smoke. It's like I said, it's my 2020 record, no doubt. I even bought the vinyl and I don't have a record player. I bought, the download when it came out, and I was like, I got to support this.
You know him too, right? You know who that is, right? That dude designs. The guy that did the cover.
Oh, the cover art, yeah.
Yeah. He's a beast, man. He did Hobo with a Shotgun, that artwork.
I love that movie. Hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Rutger Hauer, I think.
The Blu-ray artwork for They Live, the really good Blu-ray. Yeah. He did that. I mean, he did tons of
wow.
He did the poster work for the H.P. Lovecraft, Jesus Christ, Hardware, Richard Stanley movie, Color of
Color Out of Space.
Yeah, he did the artwork for that all those vibrant colors and stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a great artist, and he blessed me with my best album cover. I was like, wow. So.
Yeah, I copped the shirt with the cover on. I had to. It's so dope. So, yeah, very cool, man.
Thanks.
Well, R.A., thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being real as always. And as tired as you are, I really appreciate you, showing up and doing this.
No, absolutely. Yeah. This is easy. Cool. You know how many times I'll be this tired and I have to do a concert?
Ugh,
Be like,
I don't envy you for that.
all I got to do is sit on the couch and talk. We could do that. Plus, you know what? We weren't doing no debating. You know,
Right.
like if you're fried and you have to debate somebody, then you're like, you know, like you're not looking for gotcha moments of me saying something stupid. So it's easy.
Oh no, I'm a fan. I know your lyrics. I know where you're coming from, and I love it. Respect all of it. Appreciate all of it, and just appreciate you for putting that out into the world and really
What are
touching
your
a lot of
favorite horror
lives.
movies before you go?
Favorite horror movie? I
Yeah, well, not
original
movies,
Hollow.
but movies. Oh, okay.
What were you saying, sir?
No, not movie, just movies. Like, what are some of the ones? Because just naming one is tough most of the time, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, yeah, no doubt. For me, I love Fulci. I love Argento. I love a lot of the Italian and French horror because it's just extra gnarly. But there's great American films too. I love.
Bava, Italy. You like Mario Bava's films?
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah,
pretty much any of that stuff.
yeah. Which French ones are you talking about? Like,
Why am I drawing a blank right now? The one that my fiance refuses to watch.
Inside or whatever that one.
No. A more recent one that I loved was High Tension. I thought that was a really good film.
Yeah. Aja.
But before, oh my God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Starts with an M, and
Martyrs.
Martyr. Jesus Christ, how did I forget? Yeah, so like Martyr, like I love stuff like that. It's just like I said, real gnarly. But yeah, she won't watch that with me. She loves horror, but not that. So
My friend Frank is he directs under Aja's wing. He did
cool.
the Maniac remake for
Yep.
Aja. Frank Calhoun, he's a close friend of mine, but he's actually in High Tension. He the guy that gets killed at the there's a scene, a guy that gets killed at like a convenience store or something like that.
Yeah.
It's an axe in the stomach or something like that. But that's Frank. He's the director
Cool.
of he directed P2 and he directed the other one I said. Yeah, Maniac remake, but he's a good guy. He was directing rap videos back in the day, and now, So.
That's the thing I find in horror is I've interviewed like most of the legends from Kane Hodder to Doug Bradley, Bill Moseley, George Romero before he passed, Ken Foray last year from Dawn of the Dead, and all these people
from beyond.
There's yeah, exactly, yeah. But they're all like such good people, like some of the sweetest people. Like I interview all different kinds of people, and often sometimes I get like a real douchebag, but I find in the horror genre I've never been let down. Like even Danny Trejo, when Machete came out, I sat down with him for like an hour and a half. We had 15 minutes scheduled, and literally we connected and we got into stuff. And what a good dude, like
our community is awesome, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, R.A., thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And again, thanks for everything you do in the world. And, looking forward to hopefully seeing you back on the road here in the States sooner than later. So till then, take good care of yourself, your family, and be well.
Thank you. And thank you for all the kind words you said about my new record. It means a lot. I'll talk to you soon.
For sure. Thank you, man.
Yeah. When the devil come, boy, the devil gon' come smiling.
Yo, what the fuck these niggas talking about, man?
Yo, I love you, brother. Yeah.
Same script. Who come up out of the fold for you? Liveness, still out of control for you. We home team, we gon' roll for you. Marshman, put them in a hole for you. Yeah. Put them in a hole for you. Yeah. Creep up on them slow for you. Long range, let it blow for you. MOP, put them in a hole for you.
This official pistol gang, Philly where we bang at. Pull up in the Pagani and hit them where they hang at. There was no consideration where them bullets rang at. You was getting popped if you was hanging where they slang at. Rugged man is always wilder now, ball tripping. It's what you get for thinking you live like an audition. Bullets coming out of the blue like they Carl Griffin. Fuel inject, the funeral director, the mortician.
Y'all better fall back or get jaws cracked. All facts, I go to your skull and softer than ball sacks. Pause, but say my force is the fourth horseman. I'm all that. Splatter your organs, spread it on walls and call it a war shot. Guess the image is a butterfly. My fist is lightning, rain and thunder. I can snuff a guy and make him wish his mother died and break anatomy, chemically causing casualties endlessly. Blow your brains out and shatter your memories.
Heard him? The lyric god that is held in the highest regard, with more sick entries than Whitney Houston's toxicology report. You got top chart position in an image that's tricking the children with a little litter that some other bitter imbecile is written. But I'm spitting raw voodoo. I saw through you like a woman in a wooden box, and I'm a magician. Give you a face peel, not the type you get from an esthetician. I stomp your skull till it breaks with an ice skate. If y'all niggas is lit, the Chino's burned out the state.
Same script. Who come up out of the fold for you? Liveness, still out of control for you. We home team, we gon' roll for you. Marshman, put them in a hole for you. Yeah, yeah, put them in a hole for you. Yeah, yeah, creep up on them slow for you. Long range, let it go for you. M.O.P. We put them in a hole for you.
Strap the fuck up, I just came out of coma. You better buckle up, you running niggas over. If I ain't throwing shots, then I must have been sober. You ain't smoking, sticky, icky, one hitter. Yeah.
I'm sick with it, a mental patient, psych with a minute. When crimes get committed and niggas get drug addicted. When niggas on Rikers be bitten, razors be getting spitting. Cut his face up, now we need
I
stitches.
snatch purses, I piss in churches, I work the burners in Lucifer's furnace. Sip the blood of a virgin out of a thermos. I gun buck a fist, the razor rudder cut a wrist. I cut him, gut him like a fish and let him lay in gutter piss. The bad scats, battle axe, make a back collapse. Slap a Democrat, pack a rat, smack crackers and MAGA hats. I rewind the time, put you in the dumpster, aborted. I crush your skull into dust, chop it to powder and snort it.
Brand Nubian.
Once again,
Brand Nubian.
punch your butt to get beat down. I throw you in the fucking trunk with your feet bound. Niggas want beef, get your meat ground. NYC, this not a sweet town. Hit a crackle of bones and let the streets run red. Have you shackled in your home with the gun to your head. This is personal. It ain't shit about bread. Reversible skull when I'm splitting that head. Same script. Who come up out of the fold for you? Liveness, still out of control for you. We home team, we gon' roll for you. Marshman, put them in a hole for you. Yeah, yeah, put them in a hole for you. Yeah, yeah, creep up on them slow for you. Long range, let it go for you. M.O.P. We put them in a hole for you.
Iceberg nigga, the rugged man made the call, I'm here. My niggas ain't bloods, they straight crippin'. My niggas ain't cool, they set trippin'. Thought it was a game, till you felt that hot lead. My cats ain't semi, they belt fed. Popped up at your motherfucking crib like goddamn. Found out where you lived on your Instagram. 25 cops at the crime scene. My niggas crash a pad like a SEAL team. Berg motherfucker, one syllable ice. More whips in the Passion of Christ.
Bang, 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 bang. Blood lies and alibis. Tell his mama reply before this turned into a homicide. Nigga, any up the ransom. Tell that bitch to hurry up before I blam son. Do it all day, do it the hard way, do it the Brooklyn way. I'm talking broad day. Be the M.O. Mo P. You already know my M.O. OG.